Assalamu alaikum and greetings to you all. Thank you for joining us for an enlightening conversation between Haider Mehdi and Shaykh Fadhlalla Haeri. So on behalf of the Shaykh Fadhlalla Haeri Foundation, I'd like to welcome you for tuning in today. Haider Mehdi, welcome, is a commentator on the geopolitics of Pakistan. He has been a trainer, author and teacher, and specializes in the current political situation in Pakistan. However, his interests extend further into other questions that revolve around the times that we live in. He's running a podcast called Perspectives, Haider Mehdi's Perspectives, in which he says that in times of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And here today, he is hoping to get to some truths that relate to the very beingness of humanity. What does it mean to be a human in this day and age, trying to seek a balance between the inner and outer, between the injustices that are occurring all around us, and yet our efforts to establish harmony, peace, and justice in this world. Answering his questions and engaging in the dialogue will be Shaykh Fadhlalla Haeri. As you know, with 40 years and more than 40 publications behind him of teaching self-knowledge, Shaykh Fadhlalla Haeri is an acknowledged sage of our times whose own journey gives him the authority to be able to share his truthfully and experientially the reality of awakening to our full humanity. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Haider Mehdi. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Mona. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. The lost soul returns. Sheikh Fadhlalla Haeri, I've had the great pleasure, privilege, and very humbled to have known you for decades, and yet the questions still remain for you. You've been a master of a path and a Sufi path in the traditional lexicon of the world. And what you say is that if one is one with one's soul, this is how it reduces fear and suffering and darkness and enables us to face the challenges of modern life with grace and courage. And that this eternal light and this source is within us. The question is that at a philosophical level, one understands myself and as an individual and society collectively. But how does one manifest this awareness of the cosmic light while we are bogged down in the daily grind of the challenges, the search for food and shelter and relationships and desires and ambition and greed and violence and injustice and exploitation? How do we marry the two together?
We seem to be bogged down in a process and a search that is fundamentally faulty, unreliable, shifting, changing at all times. It's like a whirlwind that everyone seems to be caught in. We need to get to the foundation as to who are we? What is the nature of life? Why are we all the time looking for security? Why are we all the time insecure about the future? Where will it ever end? Our personal, collective, societal hopes, desires, and ambitions. Where will it end? These are the key issues. It's a very simple story if we truly accept it and then test it. It's a theory. Human beings are not purely earthly creatures based on rational, measurable, outer physical, material, or chemical goodness. These are necessary conditions for the vehicle of the human being, the so-called I and you and so on. But who are we? Essentially, life in me and in you and all other creatures, including the insects, is a mysterious entity which has emanated from somewhere that we cannot pin down in any way. So we say it is God, or it is celestial, or it is from the heavens. And therefore, it is quite attractive if somebody says, I, as a human being, feel I am an alien in this world. Quite true. For the soul or the spirit, which is boundless, not subject to any space limitations or time limitations, of course you are alien here. It's a strange world for you. So you start running from here to there, Safa and Marwa. You say, it is there that I want to be. When you get there, say, no, it is the other side where I prefer to be. On and on and on and on. It's the nature of the mind. You, I, and every other creature is a spirit, is a celestial divine light, which gives you and I and every one of us for a short time the illusion of independent life. It's an illusion. There is no separation in life. Life is cosmic and it's infinite and it's boundless. But my life begins with the fantasy that I was born on such and such day, because physically there are markers. I was born physically from a mother and so on. But am I born again into the higher consciousness? No. Everybody is caught within this limitation of consciousness. I need more money. I need more power. I need more acknowledgement. I need more. I need more. I need less of illness. I need less of bad news. On and on and on and on. You know, it's absurd. It's a theater of the absurd. And everybody's in it and everybody's reinforcing everybody else. Ask anybody, what will give you contentment, satisfaction in worldly affairs? Give me a number. Give me a number of billions or trillions of dollars or whatever, or a number of galactic controls that you can have. The solar system is not enough. Our galaxy is not enough. What is enough? Now, give the person a few minutes and he says, oh, yes, I can give you maybe, but then soon they revise it. No, they add more zeros. It is the nature of the thing. More. That's why Allahu Akbar, it's greater than greatness. Your soul has a nature that is boundless. So how can you and I, who is a servant, who is a product, who is a byproduct of the soul, ever be content with limitations? Never. So you will run from here and there. Once you know the nature of it, and that's what the Quran had done, explains to us the nature. Ya ayyuhal insanu innaka kadihun ila rabbika kadha. Oh human being, you're running, toiling towards your Lord, and you will come to know it. But in the meantime, nothing is enough for you. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Nothing will contain you, because the ruh is not containable. It is a heavenly creature, marooned for a while on earth. That's all. Once you know these basic fundamentals, then you laugh at yourself. And then you live in a correct, full awareness of the moment. Then you are more efficient. Then you don't even have any more patience. You just do it. And this is not the season. You have to wait for the entire people to cheat each other, lie to each other, steal from each other until that culture is destroyed. So you wait. What is 500 years between friends? Wait. What is 20,000 years? What was it before? So it, you cannot modify it in an endurable way. So you need to learn the nature of human being, the nature of society, the nature of the mind. Story is simple. Each one of us is a heavenly soul, produces this mysterious, amazing energy called life, and it connects with the worldly limitations of up and down and good and bad and all the dualities through the mind. But you're not the mind. The mind is a faculty. That's why we love to transcend the mind. That's why people love to get drunk and to be drugged to get out of the mind or be anesthetized or to go to deep sleep. You want to go beyond the mind, but you need a sound mind. If you don't have a sound mind, you can't deal with the world. People will consider you
Go
crazy.
crazy. You go crazy.
Right. So
So,
you need a mind in order to deal with material, physical, whatever else is rational. But you need a heart. You need your soul to have that light that gives you light.
so Shekhla, this is a huge construct that you shared, uh, and I think ordinary people like myself and I think listeners who are searching for this light within us, the divine light as you call it, it how do we manifest it? How do we get ourselves in line, in tune with our inner consciousness to be able to do what you say we do, so without having the ambitions and the greed and the desires to overwhelm and overcome us?
It's the reconciliation of duality. You and I and every human being and every creature that is alive is a soul, is celestial, is boundless, and it is eternal. But it manifests on earth as a self. The self
Right.
is its earthly image, and the self has no durability of its own. The self has within its memory all the evolution of billions of years. So the self is a creature of a lower consciousness, and it drags us to that zone because that's what it knows. So yourself,
That's the
myself,
base.
this
That's the
self,
ego.
yeah, also it's called, if you like, call it also the ultimate, dark side of us. The lower self of us, the ego of us, it drags us away from the real us. So you need to be able to put it at rest, quieten it. That's why you need silence. That's why you need meditation. That's why you need prayers. That's why you need to transcend the lower self. The higher self is your own ruh. In reality, you are only the ruh. But the ruh can only manifest on this earth through its shadow, which is the ego or the self. So the two go together. The self needs to be tackled in a manner that it acknowledges it, but puts it at ease. You can't go against your hormonal drive. You can't go against youthful ambitions. Go for them, but knowing that no ambition will ever be fully fulfilled in any durable way. You may get to the top, but for how long? You may be liked and loved and admired, but for how long? You need eternity, because your soul is eternal. Your soul is boundless. But yourself, your nafs, your ego, which is the shadow, tries to mimic that. And it doesn't work. That's why everybody will fail. Unless you transcend the limitations of the lower self or the so-called you into the real you. Then it's not even success. It's perpetual victory. Success comes with failure. Wherever is good, there is also bad. Wherever there is this, there is that. Wherever there is illness, there is wellness, and vice versa. So you need to get the mechanics right as to who are we? What are we trying to do? We're trying to learn the ways of this world, which is duality, plurality, multiplicity. Sometimes they are complementary with each other. Sometimes they nullify or oppose each other. That's the nature of this world. It's wonderful. As soon as spring has come, the seeds of winter is in the plant. For the right time, the plant follows. It sheds its leaves, it goes dormant, and it stays still, waiting for the right environment to change. The temperature, the humidity, all of the other factors and it comes back to life. On and on, cyclical. But we have become, in a way, distracted from the real map. We don't have a map. Everybody is muddling through, and everybody is blaming everybody else. They think they know better. And they are right, because your soul knows better. But you are not always your soul. You suddenly go again into the mind mode, and you go into your own history. You think you're always better. And therefore you exaggerate the points in which you succeeded. And you want to also forget the points that you have failed. If you remember them all the time, you won't act anymore, because you'll be failure after failure after failure. Every day is a failure. So you don't want that. So forgetfulness is very good. But remembrance of your ruh, that it is eternal. It is ever beyond perfection. So that's who we are. So us dealing with each other can reinforce the truth of the inner map, and therefore the outer movement becomes super. Wonderful. You're ill is wonderful. You've lost something. See how perfect that process was. Not according to your emotions or hopes. No, anything that has occurred has perfection. So you have to then be in the now. The now is utter perfection. But you need to practice, and you need to be with people who are like-minded, like-hearted.
So, Shekhar, this is a beautiful segue into my next question, because while you were sharing this, I was thinking that is there a template? Is there a template? Is there a method of practices, rituals, prayer, um, behaviors that one should be doing on a regular basis to be able to source this map and the remembrance of the rule, so we can be one with our inner consciousness? Is there a method?
No doubt there are processes that help us to groom the lower self, reduce its shadow play. More and more and more, we move from the shadowy plays of the silly memory, fears, sorrows of the past, and all of other, egotistic and animalistic anxieties, towards the light that gives them the temporary reality. That light is ever there. Your soul is ever there. The divine perfection is ever there in your heart. So what you and I need to do initially with maturity is to recognize this is more ego, this is more vanity, this is more the soul, the self, the shadow tries to be the king. It cannot. This I like to be admired, because the soul is beyond, if you like, admiration. It is ever perfect, not the self. So once you learn correct conduct, correct inner referencing, then you put limitations. And all of that comes also if you are fully accountable, if you are truly transparent, if you are willing to really reveal all without fear, without anxiety. But if you're trying to give impressions about yourself, then there will be only doom and gloom for everyone. The self is never reliable. The soul is the source of perfect, eternal, perpetual reliability. So once you know you are a soul, then none of these things arise. But initially, as you said, you need to be trained, you need to be groomed, and nature helps us. You suffer. You're always knocked. So this is part of the divine, if you like, generosity. It's grace. It's the grace upon you that you fail. It's grace upon you that people turn away from you. It's grace upon you that you don't know where to turn. Don't turn anywhere. Your soul is there. You've come by its courtesy, you live by its courtesy, and you return back to its courtesy after you leave the mucky body and the stupid mind after death.
Shekhar, this is, I'm sorry, I laugh, but you are so, I mean, I think the awareness between the the fact that there is duality within us. So there is the soul and there's the nafs, and a constant reminder that I am the soul and the nafs is not me is perhaps what you're alluding to.
Correct. But don't deny the nafs, nor try to get rid of it, as some
Mhm.
systems have. Kill the self. No, the nafs is a shadow. It had helped me to show that it is only there because of a light. And that light is the soul or the spirit or divine. So it's a shadow that serves this purpose. And thank you very much, ego. Thank you very much, lower self. Thank you very much, the animal in me. Thank you. But once you are in it as a youngster or whatever growing, then you have to watch out. Don't fall into its pangs. Don't fall into its devouring habits. So
Shekla, it's almost like being the third person outside yourself and watching yourself and your ego and your soul.
correct. That's why we all love to be beside yourself. You suddenly say, this was mind-boggling. I was beside myself. I fell in love. You fall in love with you're beside yourself. You want to go beyond the mind. Most of our entertainment is to take you out of your mind. So you can put your mind out, say, please mind, excuse me, I'm going to screw you off for a little while and put you down. Put it down. No, but it's become, you should, if you are a healthy human being of awareness and have practiced some of that, to be able to stop it. Stop being the ego. Stop being anything. Then you observe things for what they are perfectly.
Chikta, you've said that suffering is a blessing, and a lot of people are able to find more of the light within us because they suffered affliction, death, deprivation of the sort. Can you dwell a little more on that, please?
Suffering is a mysterious divine plan or plot to get us back onto the line. What is the line? What's the purpose of life? Is to know that there is divine in you, is eternal, and that is the truth and reality behind all other semi-truths and semi-realities. So the divine light or God's light is in you. But to see it, you have to stop seeing all of the other shadows, all of the other reflections in the hall of mirrors in this life, because they're confusing. So you need to stop everything, stillness, no mind, no thought, no feeling, no awareness of anything. Then you see there is only the inner light. Through that inner light, everything else emanates, including falsehood, including all of the things we suffer from. The divine light, which is eternal, always true, is in every heart. And that's the source of justice. Every human being has the same potential, but we don't do it because we get caught into the immediate survival mode or into some sort of a reputation mode or fears or sorrows or accusation or blame or claim. So your days are gone. Your life is gone. You can't stop. That's why the rituals of many of the world religions are necessary. You do your wudu. You say, I'm no longer taking away. Wipe your head, no thought. Wipe, and then you enter into the zone of higher consciousness. Allahu Akbar. The divine light is bigger than measurement. And then you enter into that zone, navigating by a few ayahs, few surahs, and then you disappear into your prostration. Nothing exists except the eternal light that has given me life. And then you come out of it refreshed. You come out of it recharged in every way, recalibrated. Then you deal with the world, the ups and downs. Say, look here, you're both of you wanting the same thing, you're killing each other. Let us share it. Or you have some sort of a way to see who should own it or not. So that is
Hmm.
arbitration. That is correct, wise judgment. That's all. And then once you become more and more and more alert and aware of the divine light in you, nothing else can possess you, because by nature we're obsessive. We're obsessed, whether it's a child or it's money or reputation or whatever. We are all naturally obsessed by the soul in our own hearts. We are obsessed. We are all obsessional. Once you recognize I'm obsessed with that which is eternal and it's not in one space, then you're relieved. Then you really have fun. Then life becomes utterly enjoyable, not by accumulation. Here you have so many people accumulate. They never get the time to enjoy it even. Look at our own leaders around us. Look at the last 50 years of the so-called Middle Eastern potentates and leaders. How many of them made homes, palaces, your own people in Pakistan? How many days did they use those homes or the palace that he made for his retirement? Before he knew he had to run away. What a farce. If this is not an absurd way of stupid life, I don't know what is.
And Shikha, this is really the heart of the matter when people who are so involved and immersed in their daily life is that every morning they get up not thinking of becoming divine beings which is inside them.
No,
They're thinking of, oh, how can I make more money?
it doesn't
How
work.
do I?
But that doesn't work. Sorry to interrupt you. Nobody can say, I am going to the divine. This is rubbish. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
There's no such thing. There is only the divine.
There's
It
only
becomes another worse cult. No way. There is only Allah. There is only the divine. There is only the absolute. There is only cosmic perfection and its lights, countless lights. One of them touches us, gives us life. No, you can't say. All what you and I can say is that let me be less bovine. Let me be less of a stupid idiot. Let me be less of greedy. That's all. But greed is fantastic if it is for the eternal. Be greedy for that which is absolute. But don't be greedy for a bit more money. What's enough? Nothing will be enough. No, we have to get the map right, Baba. We've not been educated. We've been given a bit of a miserable, very low-level secular education, not even good physics or chemistry or maths. We have not been even given that. So we have been trained a bit of an accountant, a bit of a lawyer, to make money, to make a miserable house, and to have children that you worry about them, and they wonder as to why the hell have they been brought into this world.
It is Sheikh, it is really literally like a merry-go-round. We're just going round and round. We think we're going somewhere, but we're not going anywhere.
Correct.
We're just going round and
No,
round
but
endlessly.
you're getting closer to the grave.
Alhamdulillah. So, Sheikh, the other question is, you talked about the ritual of the wuzu and the prostration and kind of losing yourself. So, what about other Abrahamic belief systems, or even where there is no belief system, and there are people who just believe that I should be a good person, help humanity, honesty, justice. Is there a path for them also? Are
No,
they also?
everybody has a path. That's also a belief system.
You're right.
There is also a belief system that there is a lot of rubbish from some clerics or some boring religious people. You run away from it. Fine. That's also another. Until you discover that what you are really looking for is looking for you, your own soul, your own ruh, your own spirit, which is boundless, is looking for you, because the so-called you is a byproduct of it. So once you know who is your origin, who are you obsessed with, you say, thank Allah's rahmah is there. What a gift. You don't have to be religious. You are obsessed with the truth. And the truth is in every heart. But now, as you said earlier, as you asked earlier, but I need to have some sort of a path of grooming. Yes, because the lower self can take over. The ego, the lower self, the animal self, the so-called I can take over. And that's why we emerged from thousands of years of despotism. I mean, we are in a wonderful time now. Can you imagine a few hundred years ago, the head of a clan or a tribe or whatever had absolute power? Until 100 years ago, there were people in this world who the leader or the ruler could do anything. We are in a much better place. Look at the women oppression. Until 50, 60, 100 years ago, look at the East. Women were the dredge of the dredge. That's why humanity was skew, half balanced. There's been tremendous progress in time. It is moving and moving and evolving towards the eternal light. But the eternal light is also in every heart. It isn't just somewhere beyond. That's not my affair beyond. My affair is me. Where is it as far as I'm concerned? It's in you. Why is it I don't feel it or see it or hear it? Because I'm listening to all kinds of rubbish. I have to stop being distracted by all the noise of my desires, my hopes, my fears. Stop all of that. Listen, listen, listen to silence, and then you will hear your inner voice tells you, but you know, you can do more good. There are people around you who can benefit more if you help them, because you are a bit more stable, have a better head, better rational head, and you have a purer heart, so you can be of a good influence, and on and on. Or it's not the right time to say anything, so relax and keep quiet. We don't listen to the God within. We all talk about where is God? He's within you and you don't listen. So what can you do?
Sheikh, this really is about being absolutely honest and being in balance, and it's something that I picked up from your teachings is that and then I'm going to just read quickly is because this is really critical. It says our world is out of balance. And in that earthly consciousness is excessively emphasized, leading to a culture of fear and distraction, which stops and hampers any attempt to integrate the self and the soul, and thereby awaken the truth within. And you say that the nature of the inner soul is that of a heavenly paradise, and the nature of the shadowy lower self or the nafs is darkness and uncertainty. And when conditioned consciousness leaves the the temporal life of duality, it touches upon the higher zone of full consciousness, which is ever permanent and glorious. So there is this balance, this mizan, uh, and I think people struggle to find this balance.
Correct. Life is a struggle. The same way there are two births. One is from the mother, and the fetus struggles. And isn't it a big shock where the fetus is used to everything around it in an aqueous environment, being fed, being cleansed, it doesn't need anything, it's perfect. So of course it cries when it is born. so it's a struggle. Now the second birth is within the space-time, if you like, containment. This is the earthly womb in which we are. But here, to be born out of this, everyone has to become the midwife, to metaphorically cut the umbilical cord with dunya. Don't be infatuated. Don't be overwhelmed by endless desires and fears and anxiety. Take what is necessary. Don't deny your human side, its nourishment and its pleasures. Don't deny any of that. Contain it. There is wonderful training in this earth for paradise. That's why people in paradise, the Quran says, and there are those who say, we have already experienced all this before. Already, هذا ما أوتينا من قبل, they say.
Exactly.
Don't give us more huri buri. We have already experienced a lot of pleasures and goodness in this world, but we want atmim lana nuruna. We want the complete light, not with any shadows in it. Pleasure always comes with displeasure, with pain, always. The balance is like that. So once you know it, you have fun. It's durable, enjoyable. It's not grim like many religious people end up being. No, you are liberated from the illusion as to who you are. You're liberated from the fantasy that you are the doer. There is no you. Allah is a doer through the life He had given you in your own heart. But are you listening to that light? Are you calibrating with that light? Are you revealing yourself to your own? No. You're changing your CV every day because you want a new job. But this is how we've all turned out to be mini shaitans.
So Sheikhna, this it is it's a big challenge for someone to be uh, faced with this stark reality that I am not the doer. There is no I. He is the only reality that exists, and now am I? So do I follow my desires? Do I follow my instinct? Do I follow the inner voice of ambition, or do I? Uh, uh, where is that beacon? Where is that
Again,
lighthouse?
this is the teachings of our deen, but we have not even living our deen. It has become a
Yes.
set of rituals and
Hmm.
a lot of animosities and a lot of fantasies. Our deen is that you are given the role of a doer for a short while by the master of it all, by Allah Azza wa Jal. You are given a role as a father, as a helper, as a driver, as a teacher. You are given a role to pray, to play in this world, but the role may any day from the author of the play can be withdrawn. Are you willing to give it up any minute? If you are, then you are in obedience.
Allah.
Supposing you've been now given the role of a, I was asked not long ago by somebody who had just been appointed as a prime minister, what is your advice to me? I said, rejoice with this heavy responsibility as you still have it, and equally rejoice when it's taken away from you. Even more, now we are liberated from all the other miserable things that goes with it. So it is rejoicing because the soul or the spirit is celebratory. You have to celebrate being a soul. You celebrate, as the Sufis did, the day of their death as being urs. Now you are truly in your ultimate wedding with your ruh, not with a wife, with the other person. No, your own ruh. This is the true wedding. Your soulmate is in you as a soul. The rest you have to have a checkmate in order to be there.
It's really like just being able to turn away,
No,
Sheikhna?
but
Turn away from.
truth, but without any harshness, with
Yes.
joyfulness, with a smile, with contentment. It is taken away from you. The moment you are dying, if you are not smiling, then you have not awakened as to who you are. It's a liberation equally, but you don't resent the world either. You resent your own stupidity and distraction and lust for it. That's what's causing you trouble.
So Sheikhna, for people in the tradition that I come from, and we have the benefit of the Quran, and and you were mentioning me to get my fundamentals right, and it's absolutely true. But really, the blueprint and the map is in the Quran. But what about those who do not have the clarity of the message that we have in the Quran, who have other scriptures, and those who do not have scriptures, who do not believe in a life after death, who do not believe in an accountability, are they lost?
The blueprint is in your own heart. That's why
Hmm.
we relish the Nabi al-Ummi. It's not tutored.
Hmm.
The blueprint,
Allah.
Allah's light is in every heart.
Hmm.
The Quran is another reinforcer of it, is a document, in fact, reflects that. If it is not in your heart already, you wouldn't understand it in the Quran.
Hmm.
The Quran says, وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمُ النَّشْأَةَ الْأُولَى. You have been taught the pre-creational light and truth.
Wow.
Where from? It's in your heart. The Quran
Subhanallah.
reflects that, reinforces it. Then it becomes communal. That's all. So all of it is in the Quran because all of it is dormant, eternally present, encoded in your own soul, in your own spirit. The Quran awakens it in you.
Wow, 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 wow. So it is dormant, it is encoded, and it awakens. And and those who don't have this map and blueprint, the Quranic map, what about them, Sheikh? Now,
They will
how
come
do
to know it
they?
when they die. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
They'll come to know it when they die, after having caused a lot of trouble.
When the whale unlift,
It
huh?
doesn't
The
matter.
whale.
They will all wake up. That's Allah's mercy. I, as
Mm,
a youngster, used to go around, wake up, until I found that everybody will wake up. It's not my business. It's Allah's done it. Allah's business is done. But
mm,
if I can be helpful, it's not to others, it's to me. The
yes.
others seem to be the excuse. Serve others, you'll serve yourself. In ahsantum فَلِأَنفُسِكُمْ. If you do ihsan, goodness, generosity, ultimately it comes to yourself. It doesn't mean the others don't benefit. They do. But ultimately it's for your own sake. There's only you. There's only you, nobody else.
It Sheikh, the other paths, in Hinduism there's a very strong desire for this inner yoga, and the other, the Zen, the Buddhists. You yourself have had experiences of similar type when you were younger. Uh, so help us understand this.
The countless paths, every people, according to their time, according to their culture, they've had openings, they've had people of light, they've had guidance. There had been thousands of messengers and prophets and so on. In the sense of the full blueprint that the mind can understand, the Muhammadi blueprint contains whatever is needed for anybody, anywhere, anytime. That's why I say, La Nabiya Ba'di. There is no more news after that.
Allah.
The Prophet Muhammad revealed it all. He said, look, the light of Allah is in you. To wake up to that, you need to leave behind all of other things that you consider to be important. Be neutral. Come to it bereft. Come to it as though it's the last thing you are doing. You find it was actually calling you. Then you'll find that truly Allahu Akbar. You find there is only Allah. And you are liberated from all the other illusions. So don't deny other hundreds of different paths, prophets, messengers, enlightened being. The world has been full of them, and also full of fools as well, who are fooling themselves and each other through economics, politics, philosophy, all of the other things. And that's why we are in such a mess. I think globally we are coming to a point now that individuals want to wake up to that which is useful for each one of them directly. No more what the parents say, what society say, what the religion say. Enough is enough. I want it for me. I want to do my work in a manner that I derive goodness and joy from it. I want to live daily in a manner that I'm cheerful. I don't want to have fear and sorrow and miseries and hide and seek and concealment and double edges and hypocrisies. Enough. I want to live now fully. I want to be authentic. I want to have a career or a work that I enjoy, and I want to have an inner state that is constantly guiding me, leading me, warning me, and all of that. That's it. That's an awakened being. We are all the same.
Chaitanya, this is so correct because I remember in one of your talks, which I was listening to, you said that the modern day, people say that the younger people are no longer respectful towards their elders, and this is a bad thing. But you actually said that, the old people are pompous. They think that they have a right to decide for the young, and the young says no more.
Well, it is both good and bad. You can't. There is no good without bad. If there is good continuity, and if the older generation lives joyfully, correctly, justly, accountably, then it is a good thing to follow. The
Correct.
Quran never tells you even once to follow your ancestors. It gives you repeated warnings. They say, when the
Yes.
people were asked, why the hell did they make so much stupidity? They say, this is how we found our parents. Meaning you can't mimic. It has to illumine you. It has to internalize. It has to give you nourishment. So, but respect of the elders is always good. The Quran also tells you that. And if you can't follow them and so on, leave them with a smile. Leave them in a good way. وَهْجُرْهُمْ هَجْرًا جَمِيلًا. So it is respect of anything that is old is good because it was before us. Respect of anything and love for anything that's new is also good because it is alive now. But in truth, the ruh is ever fresh. It's neither old nor new. It is timeless, is boundless. But we human like to have a bit of an antique. What is it? It is 5,000 years old. Big deal. A piece of stone is 3 billion years old. Come on. Also, it's the latest fashion. It's just been invented now. But every now is magical. Every instant is magic upon magic upon magic. Don't miss it. So you want to be alive. That's why we are obsessed with life. It's already done. We just have to follow. But no, we are following our whims, our mind, which is much to do with nothing other than low-level subsistence, existence, and survival. Boring stuff.
Jekna, this is a question I should have asked you as soon as we started, but your own journey is remarkable. I mean, you had a wonderful family, the great secular education. You became an extremely successful businessman. You founded one of the oil companies in the Middle East, and then you transcended to the other side. How did that happen?
I was fortunate as a young person to know none of this will be enough. I was looking for that which is beyond enough. I was looking for that which is boundless, timeless. And that's why I was looking anywhere, everywhere, whether Muslims, Hindus, whatever, wherever. And I was fortunate enough to be able to travel, to be able to, truly follow what was in my own drive, if you like. And I found it's in the Quran, clear and simple. 20, 30 ayahs of the Quran tell you the whole story. You don't need to do 6 million times khatam. It's not a bad thing, really. But honestly, 50 ayahs. And he is with you wherever you are. My God, what is this? He is with you wherever. He is the first, he is the last, he is the... You need 50 ayahs, 3 days. And if you do that, then we won't hear from you anymore. You say he's gone. He doesn't want to see anybody anymore.
Shaykh Fadhlalla Haeri, thank you so much. This has been, certainly for me, this has been one of the most illuminating moments of my life. Truly, and I think from what we've been able to gather, the prophetic path, the Quran, really is our roadmap, is our template. I mean, we look for it all over the world, but it's right there in front of us, and maybe it's been covered by centuries of clerics and mullahs who want to use it for their own ends, but really the message is there.
But there was a lot of goodwill even by those people. It is the level of awakening in consciousness. You need the mullah, you need the basic teacher, you need the Quran teacher with a stick, but you also need people who are at higher level of understanding in a broader sense, deeper, higher, and you need the enlightened, awakened people who are not looking for more followers, and so you need all of it is there. But we have sunk more and more into the materialistic, if you like, calculated mental gymnastic, more and more on the outer, therefore we're impoverished in the inner. And now it's changing. Here is take you. You will also play a role for your own sake and others in awakening to whatever we are doing. The outer world will only improve if the inner has improved. It doesn't diminish, but it doesn't become that drive for the accumulation and with fear and anxiety and compromise. It doesn't happen. The biggest point in human history was when rationality was overruled by something else. Take any of the major issues in human evolution. Take the eradication of slavery. How was it eradicated? It was not because it was rational to get rid of this abusiveness of slavery. No, the rationality was to keep it. It was economically most viable, useful. Resistance against it was that for nearly 70 years. It was the human sentiment, people's heart. The people who were in Britain, for example, still enjoying their sugar and so on. They said, no, look at the people who are enslaved in order for us to have sugar. So less sugar. Whatever. So it is sentiment. It is in the heart that all human beings are essentially the same. Much of the trouble today still is because of that. Essentially, all offsprings of Adam have the same potential, but some of them are more endowed with others economically, with certain, if you like, education, experience, and so on. They're not the same in the outer, potentially the same. So give them a chance, be generous, and that will be for your own sake. That's it. And I think it's coming. I think it's happening. Thank you very much, Haider.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Haider, for putting Shaykh Fadhlalla on the spot and getting him to unpack some of his more profound, dynamic, and transformative teachings. It's wonderful to have that exposition to remind us that our true nature is nothing other than a reflection of divine light. And as such, it's eternal and can be a source of joy when we are attuned to it and living according to its light and putting things in perspectives. And this is what your podcast here is all about. So thank you for helping us put this world in perspective with the higher consciousness that we are all capable of living through and experiencing our lives. Thank you so much, Shaykh Fadhlalla, for that wonderful, vibrant romp through Hakika, through the truth. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you very much, Shaykh Fadhlalla. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Subhanallah.